Welcome back to Past and Picture Podcast.
Yeah.
And today we have a very special episode, our book club episode.
The first book club
about
episode
Yellowface.
that no one's joined yet, but
Yeah.
we're
But
enjoying
we're
it.
going to discuss it anyway.
Yeah.
We had no
And-
comments.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
It's fine. We have 5 listeners, max.
It's growing.
Yeah.
Sort of.
This is the start of something great.
This is the start.
I was gonna, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Something new. Okay, so for this, I've only looked at the first chapter, which I've told Tony anyway. So I'm going to go through the first chapter and what I thought and like how it was written and stuff like that, and then we'll discuss the rest of the book together. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so feel free to interject as it's only 2 pages.
Well, little intro. It's Yellowface by R F Kuang.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I think that's how you pronounce the name.
Kuang.
Apologies if
I
not.
think so.
It's like a satirical novel about the publishing industry and social media and like getting cancelled, and like also depicts quite seriously like the struggles of Asian writers in creative spaces as well. That's that.
Yellowface is a 2023 novel written by R F Kuang. The book was described as a satire of racial diversity in the publishing industry, as well as metafiction about social media, particularly Twitter. For me, I'm going to pick apart the first chapter of this book. I found the first chapter really interesting. The most important plot device happens within the first chapter, so let's have a look. The book opens with a flashback of the run-up to Athena dying. At the end of the book, we realise we're reading June's truth about what actually happened with the Last Front and Mother Witch. Spoilers for the whole book. But if you haven't figured that out yet, read the book and then come back.
It's not a long book, you can read it quite easily.
Yeah, I think it's about 8 hours.
Maybe, yeah.
Something like that.
If you've got Spotify, if you listen to this on Spotify and you've got Spotify Premium, it'll just be an audiobook on there for free. So,
we can tell right away that June is jealous of Athena as she gets a Netflix deal, but it's disguised as a celebration. She goes on to explain all of Athena's wards and decorations. June also speaks about how actually lonely Athena is. Athena has no other friends, and it becomes apparent that June is her only friend, as June doesn't even really like her. The passage goes on to say that Athena has 70,000 followers. This strikes me as an actually small follower count. After having a multi-book deal, a Netflix deal, and multiple awards, June begins by saying that Athena probably thinks she's too good to be seen with other people, rationalises that Athena thinks she's above everybody else, and then the narrative switches to how June sees Athena. Everyone else must find her as unbearable as I do. But then the next line says it's hard to measure up to somebody as great as Athena, so she starts switching between different rationalisations that all make no sense. June really struggles with her perception of Athena. I feel that June knows people love and admire Athena, and she does too, but she hates that she just can't seem to get in the door the way that Athena did. And of course, this all boils down to Athena being a minority writer compared to June, which is what the text evolves into. June goes into her background with Athena. They meet at university and they've been friends ever since. They did the same course, they published stories on the same in the same time at the same magazine, and they then moved to the same city. June goes on to explain that they weren't trying to be friends, they were just running in the same circles, so it was hard to not know each other. After graduation, June got to publish her debut novel for $10,000, whereas Athena was given $100,000 or more for hers, because it says 6 figures. It doesn't give you it, so I'm assuming on the low end it's 100,000. The background information is important here, as we learn the crux of their education is near identical, but it raises interesting questions of, was this person born just better equipped to write a book compared to the other? Was one putting in more work or more energy? The book does a good job of giving us the idea of an even playing field between the both of them. The chapter progresses and we start to learn about Athena's background. Athena was born in Hong Kong, which is British overseas territory, raised between Australia and America, educated in a British boarding school. Already Athena has a breadth of cultures to draw from. When she dies, if you remember, her funeral was at a Korean church, and it's never confirmed what Athena's background fully is. We're given multiple places all over the world. Once June and Athena start to make the pancakes, Athena starts to choke. June thinks about the Heimlich remover. Athena is banging on the counters, choking. Then the next page, June starts to talk about another girl who also dies eating a pancake. Why does June / Kuang go into this detail? Athena is dying and June has done nothing about it. The next line, it takes June 3 tries to unlock her phone. I did some research. Facial recognition came out in 2017. And prior to this, the fingerprint scan came out in 2013. So tell me how it took her 3 tries to unlock what I assume is an iPhone. I'm pretty sure it's an iPhone. How did this take 3 tries? Unless her lock screen was a simple swipe like it used to be. Possibly she didn't opt for the facial recognition or for the fingerprint scanning. Once June gets on the phone, she doesn't even know where she is.
Wait, I think I know why it might. If it was a fingerprint, she's probably sweaty. And the sweat impacts the fingerprint.
Athena was making pancakes. She was looking at her manuscript. She wasn't...
No, but when... I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's a possibility, but like...
I don't want to get into the technical aspects of how phones unlock, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah, from our point of view, it makes no sense. Plus, like, the whole Heimlich. Plus, she goes into some sort of weird detail about another girl at one time also dying from a pancake. Like, why is this at the forefront of your mind?
Exactly.
Why are you not trying to help?
Exactly.
So once the EMT arrives and the police, June is weirdly worried that they will arrest her for murder. So already she knows, like, it's not that she's not guilty. It's just that I feel like she knows she could have done more for the situation.
Yeah.
The next paragraph, June becomes more anxious that she'll be blamed for the death. June goes so far as to say no jury would convict. So she already knows, even if it does go to trial, there's no way that anyone would convince it was her.
To be fair, though...
Which makes me feel like... I don't know, she does have a sort of anxiety as we go through the book, because near the end...
But it's like, she's rightfully anxious because she's done things wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we all feel like that.
It's the guilty conscience, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, if you're so sure you've done nothing wrong, and if she's done exactly what she says in the first chapter...
Yeah.
Where she literally just ended up choking and there was nothing that June could do about it.
So do you think that she was maybe not being unreliable narrator, isn't it? You think she's covering for herself, kind of?
I believe that June did not kill Athena, but I also don't think that she actually helped either. June was so unsure of the Heimlich, she only did it 3 times.
Yeah.
She only grabbed it 3 times. You got to keep going, yeah.
It's like with CPR, you're meant to break ribs, aren't you?
Yeah. So did she really try? She didn't look in her mouth either to see if she could see what she was choking on.
Put your hand in the mouth, wouldn't you?
Yeah. She didn't try to see if she could dislodge it or if she could see it. She thinks about watching a YouTube video. She decides against it. Even if you're unsure in the Heimlich, you would maybe even try and get a video up dead fast.
Yeah.
And just follow along with the video, even if you're unsure. The book goes on about other pointless things that June also thinks about whilst Athena is dying. Once Athena actually dies, June stops talking to the dispatcher. She says something, so it says that the dispatch caller asks her another question, but she's not listening. She states that she can't understand what the woman is saying. Yeah. I get that things happen and like you get confused in the situation, but I feel like slightly purposefully she just didn't try to save her. She just sort of allowed it to happen.
Well, through the rest of the book you realise that she's not a nice person. So.
Yeah. So remember when we spoke about the unreliable narrator?
Of course.
As the story progresses, we realise that we're reading the book that June ends up writing about how all of this happened. Well, this chapter is very important, and we must also remember that June is writing her own experience many years ago on a horrific night. So can she still remember exactly what happened?
So she might even just be like not purposely being unreliable as well, but she could also be purposely...
She is painting... I feel like she's painting herself
as a
in
victim.
The best light. Yeah. She's putting herself in the best light.
There is a bit later in the book where she is a victim.
Yeah.
But like this... She obviously suffered something terrible, but what she goes on to do...
Yeah. So it's possible that her memory isn't as clear as it was on the night. And if she made a statement to police, which I suspect she did, because she says that the police were there and they took her home, it's unlikely that she's even reread it before she began writing the book.
Yeah.
It's never alluded to.
Well, the way she went to write the book, it was like, oh, I'm going to clear my name. I'm going to... Like, she did it as, like, it was to save herself. She wasn't doing it out of, like, a guilty conscience. It's like she wants to get the truth out. She's doing it to save herself.
Yes.
And her ruined reputation.
Yeah.
Because she thinks that people will forgive her once they read the book.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what goes on to happen is Athena has a manuscript that she tells June about on the night of her death. It's about the Chinese Labour Corps in the Second World War. So it's the whole book is very, very hinged on ethnicity and culture of the Chinese Labour Corps.
Yeah.
June is a white woman who, until kind of like... She stole the manuscript, but she also, like, edited it. She didn't just take it and publish it.
Yeah.
She put a bit of work into it, so it should be co-authored.
It should be co-authored.
Yeah. So she does learn about it, and then she kind of, like, convinces herself that she's doing it out of the goodness of her own heart.
Yeah.
And, like, she's like, oh, but I did put the research in, so I am allowed to talk on these topics. But the way in which she got the information and the idea was somebody
through
else.
Athena, yeah.
So
it should be. I feel like it should have been. She should have just
co-authored it.
originally when she sat down with the meeting with all of her publicists, and they were like, "Is there anything more that you want to tell us about?" She should have just come out and said that, you know, I knew Athena. She could have even just said, "I knew Athena was working on this."
Yeah.
And the night that she died, I took it.
She doesn't even have to say that she took it. All she has to say is, Athena told me she was working on the Chinese Labour Corps after she died. In order to connect with her a bit more, I went on to research because I remember her saying it, and then I got really inspired.
Yeah.
Literally that.
And then just say, I'd like this to be co-authored.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Donate some of your money. Done.
Yeah.
But she didn't do that.
Stupid.
I'm gonna read my Goodreads review.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna talk about some of the stuff that I've, like, retrospectively thought about everything, because I think when I was reading the book, and just after I read the book, recency bias. So and then once I, like, obviously I am not of any Asian heritage at all, so I've read a lot of criticisms online with the subject matter, the way in which it's written, and the way in which it's all been handled, and after reading that, I'm like, oh, you know, as little white girls, we can read it and be like, oh, this is an engaging, fun, well, not fun, but, like, engaging, satirical.
It's a really, like, it really provokes thought.
Yeah.
Like, there are bits in this where I'm like, she's got a valid point there, but then you see the other side, and you're like, oh, it's really not okay.
I think the author has done a very good job of painting a picture of a very of a person, you know.
Very complex
people
person.
are unreliable. People do good things and bad things. They do good things with the wrong intention. They do bad things with good intentions. So I'll read my review and then I'll talk a little bit. I've got an article up from another Asian author. I might read a little bit from that as well.
Okay.
So June is an amalgamation of all the nasty thoughts I'm sure we all have. She just acts on them and says them out loud. She's so easily dislikable, but I also see pieces of myself in her. Want to state that the pieces of myself I see in her are not the racism and the plagiarism. Specifically towards the end where she's in a depressive spiral. So felt like the stuff that she felt, so true. I feel for her while also completely renouncing what she did to Athena. I think that R F Kuang did an excellent job in humanising June. Humans are complex. They can be perpetrators and victims at the same time.
Yeah.
I found the start of the book more engaging than the end, but if you want to get all, like, wishy-washy about it, the end got less focused when she became a bit more... She was in a bit of a spiral herself, so...
I didn't see the end coming.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
But it all came a bit...
Caroline? Candace,
yeah.
Right,
it all came a bit quick.
It did, yeah.
It was like... I'm watching Game of Thrones now, we're on season 7. It's very, like... Oh, this is all building up really nice and slow, and then everything's all happened at once in the last couple of chapters, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But to be
so... I don't know if you've seen House of the Dragon season 2.
Not yet, no. We're going to finish Game of Thrones
House of the Dragon,
first.
The whole season 2 was a trailer for season 3.
Oh, really?
Nothing happens.
Really?
Every episode, Steve was like, it's going to be this episode, something great's going to happen this episode, and it just never came. And I've got to wait for another year for season 3.
I have a article here from, I'll link it, the Cleveland Review of Books by Terry Nguyen. I really apologise if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'll just read a little bit from here. So, in a lot of the content that I've seen, like, you know, like people doing like YouTube videos or whatever, a lot of them have said like the idea was good, or it might not have been executed in the best way.
Okay.
So, this is quoting from that article. Since the 1990s, at least 2 instances of literary Yellowface have arisen in the world of American poetry. The poet Kent Johnson contrived an exhaustive biography and body of work for a fictitious Japanese poet named Araki Yasusada. Johnson never expressly admitted to fabricating the persona, but served as its executor, overseeing all matters of correspondence and even compiling a volume of his poetry. Similarly, Michael Derek Hudson adopted the Chinese moniker Yi Fen Chao to submit poems previously rejected under his real name, a move that apparently increases work's prospects for publication. So, literally what June did. She was like, she changed her name to sound more racially ambiguous, stuff like that, because she thought that she was a victim as a white woman because companies and publishing houses were only looking for minority writers to basically make themselves look good. Yeah. What I've seen online is if you're a white person who's feeling robbed, it's not the case. Being a minority writer specifically is still incredibly difficult. Something that was brought up as well, Athena was rich. It's not just about the fact that she was Asian. That probably isn't what got her, you know? It was probably the fact that she was rich. She had all the money and all the training to go to the best schools. She went to Harvard.
June also went to.
Yeah, but there's connections and stuff that you have from being rich. So I don't know how accurate being like it's a race thing, because it probably wasn't. And I think it's trivialising the struggles of minority writers. Being like people are getting signed based on their ethnicity rather than their talent. Yeah. So I think we need to be a bit careful there.
But I love her. I love her as an author. I think she's so easy to read, and I loved Babel. I'm going to start the Poppy Wars soon. Babel's so good. I should have brought it for you today. I've got the hardback version. Right. I hate reading in hardback, but I read it for her. Yeah. It was really good. I'm so excited for her release next year as well. Catabasis. So excited. This time next year.
What we can do with our book clubs is, if we were going to make a film out of it, who would we cast as the characters? Because that's just fun. A nice fun way to round out the episode. Amanda's thought about this. I'm going to think about this now.
I've thought about this so much.
I have not.
Because it's the only person that I can see. So, June is Dakota Johnson. I think she would make a fantastic June. Watching her in 50 Shades.
I've not watched 50 Shades.
You've not seen it? No, it's alright. But her in 50 Shades, like, there are moments where she's, like, nasty, but the majority of the time she's, like, really sweet and innocent. She gives that perfect, like, mixture of mystery and... What?
R F Kuang has released her Dreamcast.
Okay.
So you go
let me
through...
do mine. So Dakota Johnson as June. And then as Athena, Stephanie Sue. I think you say her name, HSU, everywhere, everything.
Stephanie Shu, I think it is.
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. The young girl, right?
Amazing. She's
Athena's
so
mum,
talented.
Michelle Yeoh, the mum in Everything, Everywhere,
but
all at once.
she's just fantastic. In
and then for Brett, Michael Urie.
I don't know who that is.
He played Mark in Ugly Betty.
Okay.
And that's her, like, publicist person.
Yeah.
I mean, they only ever speak over the phone and, like, through the computer, but I feel like that'd be perfect. I haven't cast anybody else.
So... R F Kuang also chose Stephanie Shu as Athena.
Okay.
But she chose Sydney Sweeney as June. I think, no. Sydney Sweeney has just, like... I look at her and I'm like, wow. She needs to be a bit more, like... normal. not like, you know, because she's... I just want her to be, like, a generic...
Yeah.
Ordinary person. What would make it better is... if she's not a well-known actor.
Yeah.
Because that would encompass how...
Yeah. Ooh, but then again, I feel like the content in the book for somebody unknown
can stick. You can still get someone... Oh, somebody's put Rachel Sennett.
Okay.
I like Rachel Sennett.
June.
I don't agree. Lucy Hale, who was Arya in Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
I don't know. The whole time I was reading it, all I could see was Dakota Johnson.
When we decide on our next book and read our next book, I will think about it as we read.
Yeah.
Because I haven't put much thought into it, actually. Sometimes I do see it, and then sometimes I don't. But yeah. That's book club episode 1. We don't know what we're reading next, but...
You'll know when this comes out.
Yeah, you'll know when this comes out, and then we'll put a link to our favourite book club as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, that was nice and short and sweet. Yeah. Small discussion on the book.
Small discussion.
Maybe next time we should do, like, more bullet points or themes or something.
Yeah, we'll plan this better.
We'll figure it out as we go
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, thanks for listening.
Yep.
We'll see you next
Socials
time.
in the bio. Socials in the description.
Oh, yeah.